we are going to continue with the headline, the line in the middle of the palm. And we're going to talk in more detail about the length and the shape of the headline. So as I mentioned in the first segment, it is difficult to find a perfect headline. And here you have an idea of what a good line is supposed to look like. So it crosses the palm, it makes a nice curve, and it actually reaches under Mercury. So the ideal ending is right between the mount of Mars positive and the Moon. So Mars positive is like a long distance runner. So it gives us courage, it gives us endurance to keep going no matter what. We just keep going. And we want the mind never to stop. Okay? It has to keep us going. Now the moon is very gentle, it's very creative, and it makes like the blending of Mars positive and the Moon makes the whole line a lot sweeter. So that's why we want those two mounts to have an effect on the end of the headline. When the line doesn't reach the area under Mercury, so it doesn't reach either in between the two mounts, or it doesn't reach not even like Mars positive or the Moon, it means that it's stopping in the area of Rahu. And Rahu is the center of the hand. So it represents our environment. And as you know, our environment changes all the time. And that's why we don't want the line to be in our environment, because it's going to move all the time. So the purpose of Rahu is actually to connect the different mounts. That's why it's in the middle. But we don't want to stop there, because it's a little bit like a bridge, a bridge that connects two sides of a river or two countries, or the idea of going from here to there, except we don't want to stop on the bridge. We want to keep going. When the line stops in Rahu, we become a slave of our environment. And we are stuck in our daily responsibilities. And we can lose sight of our goals. And that's why we don't want to be stopped in Rahu. When the line stops in Rahu, we actually depend on what others think. We're always wondering, what will they think of what I say, or how I dress, or how I look? And we are very stressed because of that. And on top of it, we stress other people. So there's always this idea, because of the environment, the line itself has a tendency to say, I can't do that. As opposed to this line, we have the long line, and the long line, which reaches this area of the hand, is called a pioneer headline. So we have the courage, the endurance to reach our goals. So we are not afraid to go where no one has gone before. And as opposed to Rahu that say, I can't, the long headline is going to say, I can. Yes, we can. Now I am going to talk about the line, the long line. So as I mentioned, the long line can accomplish a lot, but I'm talking about the straight line. So the straight line, any line, whether it's the heart line, the head, or even the lifeline, when it's too straight, it's too rigid. It doesn't flow as well. So when we have a straight line, also, we only have the influence of Mars positive, and Mars just wants to achieve goals. So we need the influence of the moon, and we don't have the influence of the moon, because the moon will give us the compassion, the gentleness, and the creativity, because the moon is our emotion, is always full of ideas. So when we have only the influence of Mars positive, all straight, it's not as good. We tend to be a little bit bossy, and or maybe in the way we express ourselves, we can be a little bit curt. So it's why we have to be very much aware of that and try to be more gentle, more flexible. As you can see on a more flexible headline, which has both the energy of Mars positive and the moon. Think of the curved line as like namaste. You actually bow to others. You accept people the way they are. You are not saying, yeah, I am the best, I have to do that. You say, no, okay, I can reach my goal, but I take into account other people too. Even though it's good to have a long line, we don't want the line to miss the amount of Mars positive. And here you have an example of a very curved line, of an overly curved line that goes directly into the moon. And what it does, it's losing the influence of Mars positive. We have a tendency to give up and to just go into usually our mind. So it could be because we give up on life and we say, no, it's too hard, so I'm just going to go into my own mind. Or we can just live in our own dreams. And we are often, when we have this kind of lines, we are very creative. But we need to use something very positive in the rest of the hand. Like a lot of people with a very curved line are great artists. But again, they cannot, if the line is curved and there is nothing else in the hand that's going to help, they might not really become known or really survive on being an artist, because they just give up and are all into their world. So we want the line to be curved, to have a little bit of the moon, but not too much. So this is the end of this presentation on the length and the shape of the heart line. And as you can see on the illustration that I'm showing, it is always possible to change your lines. And the case I'm showing you, I will study it in another video, in the video on how to improve your line. But remember that it is always possible to change your lines, even the stubborn headline.